All right, I'm sitting here today with Claire Duggan from Perth in WA. How are you, Claire?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for taking the time today. I thought we'd start by just talking a little bit about your story. How old were you when you first sort of started noticing something wasn't quite right with your health, and what was it?
I was probably around 24, 25, and I kept getting urinary tract infections, but I didn't get the regular symptoms. It was predominantly I'd experience like sickness and vomiting and high sugars.
Yeah, right. So not a very comfortable situation. And how did
No.
so what was the process from there? What happened next?
So I was on in Thailand just before Christmas, um, and we've been there 3 days. Hadn't been really out because we'd flown in. We were a bit jet lagged, and then we tried to get to one of the islands for the full moon party, Koh Phi Phi. So it was mostly traveling and sleeping as we were jet lagged. But I'd started to feel quite unwell. Was off my food, couldn't eat, felt sick, started vomiting. Um, and then I was vomiting to the point where I couldn't keep down fluids. And I knew I could taste from my mouth that my sugars had gone high. So we found a local doctor, and they tested my blood sugars and they were through the roof. And I was admitted to a hospital in intensive care in Thailand, in Koh Samui, for 5 days. And that was that. Flew over to Perth, moved here. My family were here, so that was before I moved here. That was the holiday before I got here. And then that was the November, the December again. I went in, I sort of detected an illness and I hadn't been feeling great. So I went in, was on IV, insulin, dextrose infusions, and IV antibiotics again. Then 6 months later, it happened again. I was losing weight, and I was having blood tests, and they said that there was a decline in my kidney function, and I was going to this neurologist. They thought I had a hole between my bowel and my bladder, which was why I kept getting urine infections. And I went in and I thought it was going to be a stock standard appointment with this nephrologist who I'd never met before. And he said, "You've got renal failure, you're going to have to go on dialysis, and basically you're going to need a kidney transplant." I was wholly unprepared for it. It was sort of, I can still remember the moment because the room just turned to the side, and to stop myself from being upset, I actually pinched my legs really hard so I could keep it together. But yeah, it was just, I wasn't prepared for it at all.
What a whirlwind. I mean, firstly, just having to being in that situation I've been to was it Koh Samui, did you say? Or
Yeah, Koh Samui.
that's not a huge place, and definitely probably not one you'd prefer to be in hospital at, let alone sort of intensive care over there.
Yes, yeah.
So what sort of time period was it exactly from the Thailand trip to, you're saying multiple hospitalizations? How many and over what period before you're actually told you needed the transplant?
So in between 2010, 11, 2012, I was diagnosed. 2013, I went on peritoneal dialysis. I got the transplant in 2016.
And how do you feel now post-transplant? You've been through so much.
So I feel very appreciative. I appreciate the health I have now. I feel very lucky, very special. Yeah, I'm doing double what I've ever done. My life, I've got so much more quality of life now than I've had for a very, very, very long time.